has been going on since the late 1600s in various forms, and sometimes families can trace themselves back to generations in mummery. One of the great mummer families is the Leighton family, and I'd like to just spend a moment, if we could, just talking about the Leighton family. Matthew Leighton Jr. was a great mummer, and we have some photographs, I believe, of him on some of his fine performances of the past. But Matthew Leighton has a great family. You've got Kevin, and you've got Matt, and Kevin's dad, Matthew Jr., is one of these folks that was with the Charles Klein Club for more than 15 years. And in fact, he was captain. His dad, according to Kevin, said to me, "Look, my dad was simply an amazing father, husband, grandfather, and friend, and will be sadly missed." We're talking about Matthew Leighton Jr., one of the great names, one of the great families in the history of mummery in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. That is Philadelphia.
The Charles Klein New Year Association for 1978, we present Matt Leighton Jr. and his 1978 theme, Jupiter Superstar, Ruler of the Sky. Captain Matt Leighton Jr. of the Charles Klein New Year Association.
Matt Leighton always puts on a fantastic presentation for us, and he spends so much time in I've been down there to visit it. I don't know if it's a warehouse or a huge garage, but he needs that much space, as you can see, to build this type of a suit. Doesn't look like a suit, but that's what we'll call it, and that's what the captain calls it. He is vying, of course, for first place position among the captains of the fancy clubs. And the background is white with blue and a red center. Now that center is going to open, obviously.
Here we go. Look at the thousands of feathers in that background piece.
Connie and Phil, as we watch Matt Leighton Jr., I mentioned earlier that Matt Leighton Jr. is being installed in the 1978 Hall of Fame.
Oh, and indeed he should be.
This.
Matt Leighton Jr., a silver god indeed. Everything is silver. Listen to the spectators.
They love this one.
They love it. And he has, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
12 page boys here, 10
page boys dressed in blue and silver. Matt Leighton's face done in silver. Sequins and mirrors.
That is
It's the
absolutely
best
great.
I've ever seen Matt Leighton do. And now take a look at the back and the sequins.
Look at the
and the
detail
work.
work. Just to construct that frame, Connie, is unbelievable.
Is he carrying that himself? Is he walking
That's right,
aided by
Connie.
casters, or is he
got
doing that?
He's guiding it. He's guiding himself.
That is an absolutely stupendous presentation.
Along with Matt Leighton Jr. this year, his late father, Matt Leighton Sr. will also be installed in the 1978 Mummers Hall of Fame.
And we'll be back with more of Mummers 1978.
Dave Roberts here, along with Phil Sheridan and Frank Conforti, and the sun is decided to hide for just a few minutes, I guess, and there's a definite difference in the temperature, Phil.
Well, I was talking to some of the boys downstairs, and they said, thank goodness, because the sunlight reflecting off of the wet street creates havoc with color.
Yeah.
And in the truck, they're going nuts. But now, everything's down to a nice even keel, and we're ready for the captain's presentation, are we not?
I'm going to take you gentlemen back to the 12th century.
I'm ready.
To a southern part of Indochina near the tropical forest of Cambodia. And the captain's presentation, Ankara, a paradise lost. And let's make mention that Matt Leighton Jr., recuperating from a severe leg injury, is not part of his suit this year. And standing in for him, doing the maneuvering of the suit, is Klein member John Sonderhoff.
Wow.
I should say Sergeant John Sonderhoff, one of Philadelphia's finest. And we wish Matt well in recuperation of his leg injury. Matt was last year's first prize Fancy Club captain.
Saw Matt down there, see Matt down there on the street in the blue coat.
He's directing the club.
Directing his club. and now very much concerned with this captain's presentation.
And there's John Sonderhoff presenting Matt's suit, Anchor, A Paradise Lost.
That's part of the spirit of this whole thing. Matt is not able to be in the suit as such,
right.
but he is here.
That's right.
Bill, I'm going to let your tones read a little story about this suit.
All righty. It was estimated that this city was founded in the 9th century. It was destroyed by the demon in 1177. From a kingdom called Champa, a new city was built on it, and the demon evicted by the great supernatural force that was called upon to chase the evil spirit and rebuild the city. This is your captain's presentation.
Great presentation, a very colorful presentation. Johnny Sonderhoff from the Klein Club, presenting Captain Elite's suit.
He is the supernatural force. The one that we saw first was the demon who destroyed the city.
There goes our supernatural force.
And that ends it for the Charles Klein New Year Association for 1979.
We'll have more of the 1980 Mummers Day Parade. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Presentation before the captain's presentation. Coming up here, this is Bright Star Fantasy by Bill Sarge Green, who was third prize winner in 1979. And then following that, we will have the presentation of the captain, Matt Layton Jr. And in the Page Boys will be his son, Matthew Jr. and Kevin. All right, he's moving in now. Bright Star Fantasy. And here he comes. This gigantic presentation of the Phoenix. Matt Layton Jr. making his presentation. According to the priests of ancient Egypt, the phoenix was the find of immortality, the only creature on earth that possessed the ability to rise from its own ashes. A magical bird that came from the Isle of Fire far beyond the Red Sea, in the blazing deserts of Arabia. Every 500 years, the phoenix returned to the place of its birth and built there its own funeral pyre. The flames leaped heavenward and were quickly consumed. The fire then died down immediately, producing the full-grown phoenix, a bigger and even more beautiful bird, rejuvenated. The figure of life ever after. Join with us now as Captain Matthew Layton Jr. recreates this breathtaking and emotional event. Come with us as we enter the time zone when the Pharaoh ruled Egypt, that mysterious age of mankind, when eternal life was symbolized by the phoenix.
Aye, we've had the fire, and now the revitalized phoenix. And the spectators here really come to life on this one.
They love it.
Matt Layton Jr., their captain. Presentation of the Phoenix.
Biggest hand of the day.
This has to be a presentation that was worked on all year, Phil.
Oh, yes. There's thousands of duck feathers in there. Oh, look at that.
And there is Matt.
Talk about showmanship, huh?
And that's all part of the judging, all part of credit that goes to them in the judging. And he certainly is a showman.
Oh, that's just magnificent.
Tradition of the Layton family in Mummery going back a number of years. An excellent presentation. Have to be among the top winners today.
And I would suspect that that just about winds up the presentation by Charles Klein. And summing it up,
Store Indian. Now here is a cryptic item coming up here.
This is the captain of the Charles Klein New Year Association, Matt Layton Jr.
And his theme is death.
Death. He is last year's first prize Best Dressed Fancy Club captain. And
He's promising a surprise at the end of his performance here.
it's a myth, a story of myth surrounding death. The need to visualize death has led man to finalize this last unwelcome visitor.
Little children in front in costume.
He's going to portray a unique vision of death as it comes to a mystifying.
He's going to be the captain. Matt Layton will be wearing 2 different costumes in this. Look for him to come popping out the top of this giant box.
Matt Layton is the head of the radio TV committee of the Mummers, by the way.
Yes, he is, Larry. Well, first to appear in this presentation will be the goddess Kayla.
Look at that coffin that sits right at the mouth.
She will arise and overlook her subject.
Watch closely here because something dramatic is going to happen.
Oh, it's coming, yes.
There it is.
View
Look at
from the
that.
sky
Look at the top.
there. The music is kind of haunting.
We should get in a little closer there. There we are.
There we go.
That's Matt.
Captain Matt Layton Jr. of the Charles Klein New Year Association.
It's kind of an eerie feeling, isn't it, watching this come up with this haunting music. One of those rituals you see in movies.
I wonder what that surprise is going to be. I think Matt's going to go down and come back and reappear as something else.
Ah, yes, I think he's going to change costumes.
Certainly one of the more unusual entries of the fancy division over the years.
It certainly is, Larry, and Matt Layton is known for his very unusual themes, captain themes.
And as he goes back down into the skull there, we've got these little phantoms dancing right in front of us. Get a shot of them. There they are. They're black with the skull faces. That drum beat. Oh, something's going to happen now. It's shaking.
There's Senator-elect Arlen Specter signing an autograph as we watch what Matt Layton has in store for us next. And it's coming up very slowly. This is the finale of the Klein presentation today.
Which is, of course, as we said, the oldest unit in the Fancies, having marched continuously since its founding in 1913.
All right.
Okay, Matt Layton is finished. Klein and company are finished now. We're expecting golden sunrise, and before they arrive on the street here, I'm Larry Kane with Deborah Knapp and Frank Conforti as Channel 10.
And myth and magic, Captain Matt Layton Jr., captain of the Charles Klein Fancy Club for 1982.
This is the finale of the Klein Fancy Club presentation today.
1982. Now, everyone, keep your eye on this one. Don't move. You will be surprised. Watch at the top as we see Captain Matt Layton Jr. coming out. There he is.
Great.
Man, Myth,
Great.
and Magic for 1982.
Great. Now, Frank, again, he's unassisted in there.
He has a lift.
Man, Myth, and Magic from Matt Layton.
Congratulations to it.
As we watch the finale of the Klein Fancy Club presentation, we'll continue our live coverage next. Proud of this particular one. It really is. A lot of hours of work went into that.
You can tell.
Okay, a little black magic is needed right now in the trio clown category. Black magic is the theme. The Burke brothers will be the carriers, and another one of Matt Layton's design. Black magic.
Boy, aren't these spectacular. How tall would you say these costumes are? About?
They've got to be about 12, 13 feet, 14 feet.
Oh, yeah, I would say
Please.
anyway. All black. Black and white there, and lots of red and orange in these costumes. Little skulls up on top. And it looks like, oh, it's a great big spider on the front of those. Maybe that's supposed to be a web.
Okay, and now we present the captain of the Charles Klein New Year Association, Matt Layton Jr. for 1983. He's going to present Illusions of Aladdin. And this is going to be a splendid presentation. You've never seen anything like this. He's going to be granted 3 wishes, Larry Kane, and I'm going to hand you a card, and you can read all about Mount Layton's Illusions of Aladdin. I'm going to be waiting for one wish right there, Deborah. I'm going to let you guess what wish I'm going to be waiting for.
I bet it's the first wish of
No,
Aladdin.
I don't want no. I don't want no pot of gold. No, no.
Oh, I see. It's the second
Oh,
wish,
yeah,
Frank.
that's the one I do want. That's the one I want.
We're going to get you in big trouble here.
The
No,
second wish, we have to tell people, beautiful women to dance before his delighted gaze. My goodness, Frank.
That's the one I want. That's the one I want.
Frank, I'm surprised.
I sort of like the third wish.
No, I don't like to fly away. No, I'll leave that to Larry.
The third wish is to fly away to a land of wonder and beauty and enjoy his riches all the days of his life. Of course, with all the beautiful women to dance before his delighted gaze.
And here
And a pot of gold
here
thrown
comes
in.
the captain now on his magic carpet. He will approach. He will approach the genie, and we'll slowly, very shortly, see the genie appear and grant him his 3 wishes.
Ooh, and there's the pot of gold, and oh, here he comes.
A massive pot of gold, may I say.
Sure you don't want to change your mind, Frank?
No. Money gets me in trouble. No.
And beautiful women don't?
Well, you got to know how to handle them.
Oh, here comes the genie.
There comes the genie. There he is. Illusions of Aladdin.
Ooh.
Frank, hold on to yourself here.
Oh, wait a minute. I think my shoelaces just came untied.
Take control.
The second wish of Aladdin. Beautiful women to dance before his delighted gaze. It's been granted. Huh?
Yes, it has.
Now he's got the pot of gold. He's got the beautiful women. What else could he ask for?
It's lucky we have a warm day for these beautiful women to dance in.
I think he'd take first prize, wouldn't he?
I think so. Yes. Captain Matt Layton Jr. of the Charles Klein New Year Association.
Really
His
splendid.
third wish is to fly away to the land of wonder and beauty and enjoy his riches all the days of his life. And the genie done granted it to him.
And we'll continue with our live, non-stop coverage of the 1983 Mummers Parade after this on Channel 10. We are, and it's happening. The Charles Klein New Year's Association, the first of the fancies, has arrived at Philadelphia City Hall. And I don't think we can hear you, Frank, but They were founded in 1912.
And they've been parading since 1913. And we're going to start out with the captain of the Charles Klein New Year Association, Matt Layton Jr. And he's presenting a spectacular this year, Deborah.
Atlantis, treasure lost to the Ice Age. We have all kinds of creatures, and this whole presentation is marked by lots of silver and blue and white, very icy colors. And it was a time in history when the great floods had depleted the water vapor in the Earth's atmosphere and the great Ice Age began. So that's what we can look for here from the Klein Club in their presentation.
And you can always expect something very spectacular from Matt Layton. He always has a spectacular finish. These are the people, by the way, that helped build the float that carried me up Broad Street last year.
That was
and they are very creative.
Let's get it right. It was not a float. Let's talk fancy now, Larry Kane. You're a veteran of the fancy division. It was a handsome costume with wheels on it.
It was a handsome costume, but the guy moving it wasn't.
That's another story, but
let's look at Matt Layton now.
All right.
People are getting ready for their presentation. Atlantis is the theme, as Deborah just told you. We've waited a while for the fancies. They are ready. Last year, Charles Klein Fancy Club finished third after finishing first the year before with their Liberace thing. And here they go.
Captain Matt Layton Jr. for 1984. The Charles Klein New Year Association begins their 84 program.
Once again, the theme is Atlantis, treasure lost to the Ice Age. And this great big float sort of looks like a spider, but it has silver coming down like icicles off of the costume, lots of white, big black face with big pink eyes and pink mouth. Silver and turquoise lame there. We know that the fancies, while they're beautifully costumed, they don't put on any elaborate drill or any sort of skit, except for the captain. The captain of the Charles Klein Fancy Club, as we have told you, Matt Layton Jr. He's a third-generation mummer, too. His father, grandfather, both captains of the Charles Klein Fancy Club.
And now as we watch the top of Matt Layton's presentation,
oh, it's starting to come up.
Will begin to rise.
And steam's blowing out of the top of the monster. What a spectacular costume. The arms have sort of opened up on this. And it's silver lame with green and blue. And silver is coming right out of the top, and Matt Layton is in the middle of that, dressed in a blue and silver sequin costume. Look at that. Look at that face.
There he is, Captain Matt Layton Jr.
What a spectacular start to the fancy.
And by the way, because of our continuous live coverage of the 1984 Mummers Parade, CBS's coverage of the Washington Redskins versus LA Rams can be seen on Channel 29. There's Matt in all his splendor, pink and white and blue.
He has been captain for 14 years of the Charles Klein Fancy Club. Charles Klein always borders on the outlandish, and this year is certainly no exception. Atlantis, treasure lost to the Ice Age. Captain Matt Layton has returned to the Ice Age to rediscover Atlantis. Now he's dancing up there.
Matt Layton's brother Bill, a former Philadelphia policeman who was wounded in the line of duty, designs and builds an entry each year. Someone else carries the presentation because he was shot during that hold-up attempt a few years ago and hasn't been able to march since. A tremendous brother team in Philadelphia, Matt Jr. and his brother Bill Layton, Charles Klein Fancy Club.
And we can't forget the other two brothers, George, also a Philadelphia police officer, and their brother Joe. There are four. Matt Layton has a total of 3 brothers, and it's truly the legend of the Laytons. Their father, the late Matt Layton Sr., also inducted into the Mummers Hall of Fame. And there it is, Matt Layton Jr., the captain of the Charles Klein New Year Associations, the captain's presentation for 1984.
Going back into his pyramid. Of course, all the dancers around him were women. Real women, not men dressed up as women. That's a little unusual.
No, the real thing, Deborah.
I know. It was
One thing I like about Matt Layton Jr., he uses the lovely ladies as part of his presentation.
And there's the view from Philadelphia City Hall of Matt Atlantis, the Ice Age, as it comes by our booth here, making the turn to Market.
23 first-place finishes, but not since 1981.
And the first entry of each individual club, of course, is the captain's entry. And this year it's the Idol of the Incas.
Matt Layton III is the captain, making his debut as captain. But what a legacy he follows. His father, Matt Jr., led Klein for 15 years on the street today in the handsome costume category. And his grandfather, Matt Sr., a founder and former captain of Hog Island. Matt III, a third-generation captain.
You know, like Golden Sunrise in Oregon, the children of other clubs, so is Charles Klein. It can trace its roots all the way back to 1901, the offspring of the Furnival Club. A lot of these clubs have their traditions that go way back, and they're offspring of other clubs in this parade.
And almost everyone has a wonderful story that goes with the founding of the clubs.
This is an elaborate entry here with the great big idol of the Incas, and the Incas pulling the idol.
Now the captains have assistants, and Matt Layton has 15 assistants to help him with his multicolored dragon.
There he is up on top of it, see?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's climbing out of it.
No wonder you need assistants. In the 11th century, from the highlands of South America came the Indian empire of the Incas. They worshiped the sun god, who rode the gold-headed dragon.
And there he is. Looks like a golden beehive on his head, doesn't it?
Now, I think this is supposed to be a smoking dragon.
Why you say that?
Well, because that's what the script says.
Oh, okay. I thought you saw him light up down the street or something.
No, he may have given up smoking.
Wise choice if he did.
Well, smoke or not, Matt Layton is the sun god, escorted by high temple priests.
He's coming down off of his high horse now. Or high dragon.
That dragon, incidentally, 17 feet high and 30 feet long.
And the assistants are dragging the dragon up Broad Street.
That's a 4.
Well, it's a little later in the day, isn't it?
All right, the captain's entry for the Charles Klein Fancy Club. Matt Layton III, making his debut, a third-generation captain.
Seen a lot of colorful entries in this parade, of course, but a lot of black